Hello, YouTube! I am Penstar, and this is Hearthlands Strategy and Tactics Episode 2. So in our last episode, we got our housing block built, we've got our basic economy built, and we've got ourselves hooked up with a whole bunch of trading partners. Right now we are currently hemorrhaging money, but that's okay. We have plans. We have plans in place. So there's a couple more things we want to keep an eye on. Now, yes, we are still suffering under a worker shortage, but we already know that our houses are going to be growing 2 more levels. Right now, they're only level 2, and they will be growing 2 more times because we know we have the alcohol, the food to get them from 1 to 2, the alcohol to get them from 2 to 3, and we have the furniture to get them from 3 to 4. So that will give us what we need. And that will bring in a heck of a lot more people. Now, one other thing that we're going to need here is, well, money. I mean, we're going to be spending a lot on buying stuff that we need for our people. And eventually we're going to deplete our gold reserve. So we need to think of a way to replenish that. So one of the things we can do is, well, make goods to sell in excess. So one of the things we can do to save us some money and at the same time make us some money is start making our own alcohol. Not only would that allow us to stop buying alcohol from Sheepburg, even though we're getting a decently fine deal from them, we'd be able to stop buying from them, and there are 2 people waiting in the wings to buy wine from us, Brencaster and Streetpool. So what we're going to want to do, now keep in mind, pay attention to how much they're willing to buy. They're only willing to buy 16. 1 full winery's worth, it produces 24. So what I would recommend here is we're probably going to want 2 wineries worth. One and part to feed the need for these guys, and then part to feed, quench our own thirsts. So the other thing to pay attention to is growing dates. It is currently May, and when it comes to the winemaking, grow from June to August. You need to make sure those grapes plants are in the ground before June. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait the whole freaking year. So we're going to make sure, we're going to put down our wineries and our grape plots right now, even though we don't have full numbers of people here. And again, since wine is produced and processed here, we're going to want to put it near our sort of our centralized storage house here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a wine thing here. Get rid of that thing, otherwise known as a tree. Now what I like to do to minimize the footprint here is 2 spaces on the side plus 1 space above it, and then 3 spaces on the other side. That will give you the 24 plots that this thing can work. And it makes it, kind of fit into your infrastructure a little more easily as well. Now, I guess one other thing we could do here is if we were to, say, do something like this. Yeah. Put that right there. 3 on one side, 2 on the other. Doesn't really matter what side. And then we put our... oh, that doesn't work out, does it? Ha! Let's try that again. That goes on this side, and then these grapes go on this side. That's better. I foxed myself there. Alright, so these guys will, in due time, start spitting out wine, at which point we can stop buying wine and start selling it. And that will help stave off the bleeding here. Alright, now it does take time to get your guys leveled up here. And we do have the tax office set, good. Alright, so everyone leveled up to level 3, and now our peddler's going around and distributing the furniture, which will allow them to get to level 4. And as you can see, the grapes are all starting to grow. And then once they become ready to pick, we'll start harvesting them and start making wine. You'll get the very distinctive sound when they're ready to go. Trust me. All right, let's look at our workers. Only a 9 worker shortage. Excellent. And extra room for 48 more, which means we can turn on our buildings. Now, if you remember at the beginning of our last episode here, we turned off... Oh, you know what? I forgot. Well, hang on. We turned off all these buildings. We're going to want to turn them on. Except for the town hall. That's still too worker heavy for my liking. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I wanted to blitz through food, alcohol, and furniture. Food gets you from level 1 to 2. Alcohol gets 2 to 3. Furniture gets 3 to 4. But there's one more level to go. When you get to level 4, in order to grow to level 5, you need to have a nice enough area. But you don't actually require any physical goods. It just checks to see if the area is nice enough. All of these trees and flower beds take care of that, so we get a freebie level into level 5. That's why I kind of want to blitz that. Because we get a lot of population, a lot of bang for our buck, as it were. Hang on, 1 second. I gotta turn these down just a smidge-a-meter. That's better. So these guys are all going to level up one more time and give us even more people. Yes, there's a 5 worker shortage, but once everyone levels up and attracts all the people, there ain't going to be a shortage no more. And that will allow us to sort of get into our next thing. So yes, everyone is level 5. In order to grow further, they need clothes. However, we're not going to get them clothes. Not right now. Not right now. We've grown tall, as it were, leveling up our buildings. Now it is time to remember to build a freaking watchtower, because it's around this time that the goblins are going to start sending thieves against you, and you need a watchtower to, well, watch out for that. Right here should be good enough. He's not going to catch it because it takes time to train up a watchman. So they are going to make away with one of our furnitures. Blast. Not the end of the world, though. All right, our storage is starting to fill up, so we're going to want to start doing something with that. And the other thing you want to keep in mind in here is as you start growing larger, the dangers that you will face start growing larger as well. So you cannot neglect your military for very long. Your military will do nothing for you economically, at least in the long run anyway, but it will keep you from losing the game, because if you get a really big nasty spawn of monsters and you are not prepared for it, they'll just come and just destroy your entire town and say goodbye to your settlement. So we need to start getting up on our military before we need it. And it's at this point where all these houses are level 5 that we have enough of an economic foundation that we can start working our military without bankrupting ourselves, and also you tying up all of our workers in military projects as opposed to civilian work. So what are we going to do with our military? Well, we've been kind of building up the goods that we need for one specific type of unit. Archers. Archers cost bows and arrows and leather armor. Bows and arrows are made out of planks, which we can make by cutting down more wood or just importing it, plus feathers, which we are stockpiling. Leather armor is made out of leather, which we are stockpiling. So we have all the raw materials we need to make a unit of archers work for us. So I think that's precisely what we're going to do. So what we want to do is we need to get down a couple of things to make archers, to be able to produce them. We need to be able to produce the armor, so we need an armorer's shop. We'll put one right down here. We'll want to put them all in a row here. Armorer's shop here. Extend you out. And then a Fletcher's shop. Again, remember, Weaponsmith shop will make all the weapons for most of the other units in the game, but the archers require their own shop, the Fletcher's shop. So we will put down a Fletcher's shop. Now, these guys will not produce their respective goods unless there is a unit that demands those things. So we want to put down a barracks for our archers. Say right down here. This will also have a knock-on effect of if the goblins continue raiding this way, it'll activate the archers and they'll start taking some pot shots and might prevent further thefts if our watchmen can't get to it. So those guys are going out to get theirs, and once they start getting their respective materials, they will start producing units. This will allow us to breathe a little bit easier without really seriously hampering our economy, because it's primarily using goods. Well, actually, there is one other thing we need to add to our economy, and that's those extra planks. We have no planks, nor means to turn things into planks, and just building a sawmill would exhaust the amount of wood, because one lumber mill, where one woodcutter's lodge produces 48 loads per year. This consumes 24 loads per year, and that consumes 24 loads per year. So if we needed to get any more wood going, we'd need to get more lumber going. That being said, well, there's a couple of things we can do to sort of offset that. One of the things we can do is, well, let's take out our trade routes. Is anybody selling planks? No, but somebody's selling logs for freaking dirt cheap. Let's buy some freaking dirt cheap logs. And they're only selling 16, so that's fine right there. That's more than enough that we need for our planks here. So rather than building another woodcutters thing, now the counter argument would be that we could sort of cut down on how many furniture purchases we need to make, and that actually is a pretty good counter argument. So maybe we won't buy the wood. Maybe we'll actually make it ourselves. Get ourselves another woodcutter's hut, and I'll save on the forester's lodge at the moment. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll put one down here. Got to think long term if you want to be sustainable and not have your guys walk all over creation to cut down a tree. Not farming, not husbandry, not food. What am I thinking of? Oh, right, production. So now we have 48 more logs coming from here. We can then get into sawmills, which each process 2 of those. So 2 sawmills to 1 woodcutter. So 2 more sawmills. Boom and a boom. And then for the actual, well, one sawmill is just going to produce planks, which will be used by our Fletcher. The other one we can start producing we can start using to produce furniture. And we can always, once we're done with our bows, we can always produce another one as such. So let us continue. But I turned off our turnips. No, let's turn off our turnips. I think we're good for now. Yeah, maybe. All right, we are getting our grapes harvested now, which is awesome. I should have turned that off right before they delivered that. We don't need to buy wine anymore. And in fact, we can now, a lot more buyers for wine. So let's sell it to people that want to pay us more. Right now we only did production enough. You know what? Let's just, for the moment, we're just going to sell it to the highest bidder, because we do want a little bit of a stockpile on hand. And I'll show you why momentarily. Yeah, I know, not enough workers. How many? Few? 14, but there's extra room. People are still moving in. So we might actually reach ourselves a pretty healthy equilibrium pretty soon. And again, just the number of people moving in does not always equate to the number of workers. See how there's still a worker shortage even after 16 more people moved in? That's because of our penalties, and also the difficulty levels penalties. But still, a worker shortage of 3 is nothing. This is pretty much equilibrium right here. So, are we just going to sit here? No, we need to grow. We need to grow and expand ourselves. Alright, we got our Gobbo, but we should have our Watchman trained up. Will he intercept him in time?
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Nope. But he killed him and left the goods that he stole. Unfortunately, you can't pick this up with your Watchman, but once we get our first unit in here, we can. Alright, looks like we got our first thing of planks in here. Or no, that's leather. What are we missing? Yeah, we got our feathers. So we just need the planks in order to start seeing our units be produced. Because we do want to get that first set of units going here. But there's still more to grow here. So one of the things we want to factor in here is we want to start getting more people. Now, one way to get more people would be to get into clothing tech and getting people clothes so that they can continue leveling up. But getting into the whole clothing production line is very worker intensive unless we can just buy them. But even then, I kind of want to go wide before I go taller. So we're going to make another whole housing block and bring it up to level 5. Rather than work on the tech of getting our clothing set up here. So let us do exactly that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the next block. I'm going to build it right along here. So we're going to actually reuse this thing right here as sort of the baseline of our block. So off screen, I will build the rest of this block here. And in our next episode, we will see how we can catapult our economy even further with the addition of a second residential block. Even though we're not growing people as tall, we can spread out. So if you like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Good, bad, or indifferent, your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar signing out. See ya.